Hey, World Languages Department, it's Nate, your chair of the Program Review Committee. I wanted to shoot you yet another video, give you some feedback on the questions that you're going to be getting from the committee. So we did finish up your read. Thank you for getting your report done on time and helping us stay on schedule. So I thought it'd be a good idea just to give you some feedback to attach to the actual questions so you're not in the dark as to why are we asking you all of these questions. So pretty much all the questions that you're going to see coming from the committee are from the committee as a whole. We have consensus on asking these questions. And really the purpose of the questions is they help us formulate recommendations and commendations. So you'll see a fair amount of questions, but oftentimes it's helping us as a committee to try to avoid giving you a recommendation or to provide a more succinct well-crafted recommendation or commendation. So that's the intent of the question. So, and I think I mentioned this in the initial feedback to you on the previous video, but you're going to see questions really kind of focusing in on three main areas: enrollment management, SLOs, and staffing, since this is kind of the main gist of your report and some of your requests. So let me just give you some feedback on each of these. So for enrollment management, you're going to see questions that pertain to sections 1.2 and 2.1, 2.6, 5.1, and section 8. So, and likely there will be some recommendations coming from the committee, depending how much more feedback and explanation we get from you guys around enrollment management. And the committee feels that there is a need for some improved course efficiencies and some more enrollment management activity. You know, the college is in a stabilization mode. This is something we're all facing in my department as well. But the days of us kind of having 80% fill and that being okay, from what we're hearing from administration, is we have to do better. So when we have smaller programs, we're trying to get them closer to 100%. So the more that departments can do to help fill these courses, the better off the college will do as a whole. So, so you're going to see us asking a lot of questions around enrollment management in those sections that I mentioned, with the goal of having you guys have a look at a possible recommendation around improving your course efficiencies, or even possibly deleting some courses. So I know that's not a favorable topic to hear, and I'm just being honest to you guys, and that's, again, coming from the entire committee as a consensus around looking at some of the efficiency in some of the courses. I think Italian stood out, and I believe there were also some notes around Chinese. So just giving a heads up on that. Again, so your questions and how you can respond and help edify these pieces will reduce some recommendations or help us do a better job at crafting our recommendations. So enrollment management is the first piece. The second piece, SLOs, student learning outcomes, section 3 of your report. And again here, as we are facing accreditation as a college, as you know, the SLO piece and the future funding of colleges with student learning outcomes being funding being tied to those in some percentage, which I think we all kind of were afraid and thought that that was going to be coming, and it sounds like it is coming down the pike. It's not here yet. But to that intent, more analysis of results, of your student learning outcome results, specifically with how that analysis is going to impact your assessments that you made and the results that you got from those assessments. What changes did you make to your teaching as a result of those SLO assessment results? So we were kind of wanting more in that area. And I know there was the issue with the data, with some of the older data, but you do have some of your data. So Blackboard, I believe, is still open, and there is data for you to analyze. You have it in some other forms, it sounds like, and then getting it into TrackDat will probably be a recommendation coming from us. But you'll see some questions around us asking for you to do some more analysis on your actual outcomes and give us some commentary on what changes you made to your courses or modifications as a result of that analysis. And maybe a simple strategy is to focus on your high enrollment courses I know with Spanish, you do have a fair number of full-time instructors, not in all the different disciplines, but they're, what is it, 4 full-time instructors with the multiple sections. That comes out to about 9 sections per instructor. There might be a way to kind of tackle some assessments around that piece. Slows. Okay, and the third piece is staffing. Obviously, we know that a staffing request is paramount for you guys and tops on your recommendations. And we see a lot of these from program review. And I'll be honest with you, as a committee, we used to offer a lot of support around staffing recommendations, and departments would get frustrated with the situation of, we got a recommendation from program review, and we're still not getting any staffing support. So taking a hard look at that as a committee, we didn't want to be crying wolf, so to speak, and making recommendations where we knew the department wasn't going to get supported with actual staff. So I'm saying that to let you know that the committee as a whole it doesn't offer many staffing recommendations lately. And that's because we're getting feedback about stabilization, and we've asked the administration to give us some honest feedback of, like, what warrants us actually giving a recommendation, and can it be honored, and wanting to do that when it's actually going to mean something. I'm saying all that to infer that you may not get a staffing recommendation. And I know that's something you don't want to hear. And again, we haven't done any of this. We haven't even finished our recommendations yet, but I'm more of the mindset as chair that I like to keep departments informed on where we're going as we move along, and we can have back and forth communication while you're answering our questions. And it helps all of us be on the same page and kind of have less surprises, things being sprung on you or to us, either way, when we get to the actual live meeting section. So I know the intent, the rationale there is we need staff in order to grow our department. But what I'm hearing in the mindset of administration these days is you need to grow your department to get more staff. So that's challenging. But I would, you'll see some questions around Section 9 on this piece, and take a hard look at those and really look at your rationale and support for staffing. I think the total number of staffing that you asked for was pretty high. But if you were to make a more stringent case for staffing, what would that language look like? That might help the situation here. Okay, so that precedes your questions. You're going to see a bunch of questions. Please don't be disheartened. I try to categorize them for you as much as possible, and you have to understand that as chair, I'm gathering input from a lot of committee members and trying to coalesce it down to a condensed format. But it really kind of falls into those main 3 areas. Okay, so we're about halfway to the goalpost here. So once we get your questions back, then we'll schedule a live meeting, and then the president's meeting at the end of the semester, and you guys are done with this process. Okay, thanks for all your work, and always you can email me or voicemail me with any questions, and we can also set up a live meeting if you just want to talk live. I shoot the video just because it's faster, and I know it's hard for us all to schedule during this part of the semester. Happy to meet with you live. Okay, thanks again. Bye-bye.